Hunting. I breathe it, I dream it, I live for it. It's not just a part of me, it's who I am. It's in my blood, and it lives in my soul. People ask me why I hunt, and I simply can't give you one answer. It's not about the kill, it's about the hunt itself, the preparation leading to the hunt, and the memories made. To be able to share something so rare and so incredible with someone else is an experience that won't compare to anything else. It's about population management and providing pure food for your friends and family. It's about training all year round, preparing your body and your mind for the physical endurance that your hunt requires. It's about scent control and understanding the animal's behaviors and understanding the land around you. I think about hunting all the time. It's not just a hobby, it's something I have to do. Hunting brings you to some of the most remote areas of the world, offering you the chance to experience incredible things. It's about sitting in the forest surrounded by towering trees and scurrying animals, and to be able to watch the sun rise and the sun set. And when it happens, when you finally have the opportunity of a lifetime to harvest that beautiful animal you've been waiting all year for has finally arrived, all the hard work and time has paid off. Heart pounding as fast as ever, mind focused more than ever. It all comes down to that one shot. That's all you have. Without a thought, your bow is drawn with ease. Even though you've been sitting there in the cold, motionless for hours, all the adrenaline pumping through your body allows you to forget about the blistering cold winds in your face, just as it's been in your nature your whole life. It's something that just comes to you. At that time, at that very moment, nothing else matters. It's just you and that animal. My name is Paige Galea, and I bring to you Hunting Confessions. Join me on this adventure where I bring to you the most influential people in the hunting industry, discussing their strategies, their adventures, their hunting confessions. Hey y'all, thank you for joining me today on my first episode of Hunting Confessions. I thought who better to start the show off than with someone who has had a huge impact on the hunting industry. He has traveled all around the world, harvesting animals that most of us only dream of. Today you will get to hear in a 2-part series, Jim Shockey's Hunting Confessions. Most importantly, I want to know what does hunting mean to you? I know it's a pretty broad question, but...
Our television show, Hunting Adventures, kind of encapsulates what hunting means to me, and that's family, humor, adventure, big animals, and culture. So those 5 elements make up hunting. Now, I think the overriding, if you had to put all those underneath one, it would be conservation. If you every one of those applies to conservation. We all, care about wildlife. Our family, and every hunting family spends money and time on conservation. Every time we're out hunting for those big animals, it's, conservation is a major element in that. Culturally around the world, when you're with the various peoples that have wild animals that they're stewarding over, again, conservation. So,
right.
And on top of all that, conservation is fun. I mean, it's fun. It's something. It's a great way to spend your life. Is hopefully leaving this planet a better place with a better understanding of how hunting helps with the conservation of the wild animals, and how hunting gives them space to live, habitat to live, by giving the animals dollars to essentially buy back and preserve the habitat they need to live in. They can't compete against cows and chickens and goats and sheep and pigs. Those animals, they own most of the land that used to be for wildlife. Those animals are incredibly well adapted to, 7.5 billion people in this world. They've adapted best of all. They know, as a species, for their survival, they have, they feed us.
Yeah.
So it's a crazy thing, but wildlife knows that too, and we have to act as the stewards of the wildlife and the champions of the wildlife. So that's what hunting means to me.
Well, I think
that's a great way to explain it. There's so many different aspects involved in hunting, and you're right, it all kind of leads to conservation. And it's so important to get that across to some people that don't really understand why we hunt, and that's the greatest way to put it. It's all about conservation.
Yeah, absolutely. And then break down conservation into its various elements, and suddenly it makes all kinds of sense.
Yeah.
You know, as long as the people that you're talking to have an open mind and understand the definition of tolerance.
Right.
You know, if people don't have an open mind and they're not tolerant people for any other views than their own, then unfortunately, no matter what we do, it falls on deaf ears and ignorant minds.
Yeah, and that kind of touches base on something else I wanted to talk with you about is I personally have received hundreds of death threats and terrible things wished upon myself and my family just based on people that don't understand why I hunt. And I think it's terrible that, these things are being said. And I know it's not just to myself. I'm sure you've had to deal with it as well. How do you address these comments? What would you say to someone, if say anything at all? Is it sometimes better just to not say anything?
Well, it's two different things. I mean, a death threat is one thing. Someone that's throwing sticks and stones at you, on social media, that's a different thing. The people that throw sticks and stones, that's bullying. It's not condoned nowadays. It's not acceptable nowadays. The only reason that they're getting away with it is because the majority, they feel, believes the same way they do.
Right.
So, at that point, it's like a tyranny of a majority and a vilification of a minority. And that's, again, back to the word tolerance. Mm-hmm. These people that are throwing sticks and stones, they're the modern day bullies. They're online, they're bullying you, they're bullying, my daughter, they're bullying, they try and bully me, it doesn't work so good. But, it's a little different matter, but, just I've been around a long time, but it is bullying, and it should never be accepted. There's protocol in place for dealing with that type of bullying, and it's just that the people that are putting that protocol in place. I mean, if you're a student in a classroom and somebody sent you the kind of vile, disgusting comments, another classmate sent them to you, you could easily report it. The teachers would react.
Exactly.
These same people are sending the vile, disgusting comments, to young lady hunters, and who do you report it to? The teachers, and say, they step back, and not every teacher, but in general, step back and don't want any part of it. They say, well, you brought it on yourself, which is absolutely what bullying is all about. Nobody brings bullying on themselves. So right now, there is protocols in place to deal with it, but the people that are overseeing it and have mandated it and are supposed to be enforcing it don't when it comes to hunting, and young people that are hunting that are being bullied.
Yeah.
So online, you can't win with a keyboard warrior that sits in their basement and says ugly things about people. You can't. You can delete them and ban them from your page, and that's all we can do now. To try and address these people in a lot of ways just gives them more airtime and isn't, you always take the high road, and how does that saying go? You get in a fight with an idiot, you just end up bringing yourself down to their level, or an argument with
yeah.
You can't. So you just take the high road and know you're doing right, and know you've done nothing wrong. They're the ones that are in the wrong and taking the low, ugly road. You let them do that. And death threats are another thing. Those have to be reported to the police, and they should be reported to whatever social media system you're using, whether it's Instagram or Facebook. I mean, there's people in place to police that. So you just have to report it. report.
Yeah, I guess that's really all you can do, because if you reply, you're just fighting fire with fire, and it's not going to go anywhere, like you said. So
No, you get in a mud fight, everybody gets mud. So and it's just that you're right. Those people don't want to hear anything other than their own voices, and that's not a hill you want to die on, figuratively speaking.
right.
You want to try and reach the 80% of the people that are in the middle that don't hunt, and show them how socially unacceptable that behavior is by that 10% that hates, and
Exactly.
that's over time you will emerge victorious on that battle. That it just takes time.
And it never used to, well, I know with myself, it's really only started to happen within the past 2 or 3 years, and I think that's because of how big social media has gotten and how many people are involved in social media. But what I've also noticed recently as well is that now more than ever, hunters have been receiving a ton of backlash within the actual hunting community from other hunters. And I feel like now is the most important time to be united together, because we all believe in the same thing. We're all hunting for the same reasons. And I noticed that there's been a lot of backlash from other hunters. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, you're saying something that I've seen the exact same thing, and it astounds me. I mean, I'm shocked and kind of fascinated at the same time when you can put a post out and you get 50-50 of the hunters hate it or like it, whatever position you're standing for, and yet we're all the same, and I know we all believe in the same things. It's part of the problem with social media, because everybody believes they're an expert on everything nowadays because they read some blip from somebody, and there's so much information out there that nowadays, I'm hate to say it, but it's virtually impossible to sort out the truth from the lies and the falsehoods from the fairy tales and the reality from the false reality that is online. Because once it's posted, these hunters believe it, and they don't actually know, and we're all too proud to admit that we don't know what we're actually talking about. And this is it's a fascinating time in history right now, that a point where I've never seen the like in my 60 years on this planet, and it's changing so quickly that that'll be Paige for you youngsters to sort out, and hopefully Mark Zuckerberg, who is a hunter apparently, to stand up and fix this problem, because the truth is almost impossible to sort out anymore.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true. Everyone believes in something so strongly, but there's ways of going about it, and I think certain things that have been happening within social media is not the right way of going about standing up for what you believe in.
No, I agree. And like I say, nobody has all the information anymore. We all have bits and pieces and different angles and spins on every issue, that even hunters, they don't know what's right and what's wrong, so they fight each other. It's like an interesting time.
Well, I know one reason that we all hunt is because we like knowing where our food comes from. I mean, that's a big reason for myself. What does it feel like for you knowing exactly where your food comes from? You not only get to feed your family, but I know a lot of places in the world where you hunt, the meat gets donated to villages. That must be such a good feeling, knowing that you're helping so many people.
Yeah, that's the wonderful part of hunting. I mean, when I grew up, if my dad didn't get his moose every fall, we didn't eat meat for the winter. We didn't go buy a cow. That wasn't an alternative for us.
Right.
In fact, I didn't even know you could buy cows until I was in high school. And I found out that's how my friends got their meat, in their sandwich. So I've grown up with wild game, and I mean, I don't know. I have not seen a healthier lifestyle, and I've not seen a healthier way to feed yourself or your family and your friends, or around the world, the various communities that rely on that wild game. So it's the best of this new organic green movement.
Yeah.
And a lot of the youngsters, even from the city, they recognize that. They're not buying into the rhetoric and the ideologies that just don't hunt because it's wrong. They accept that. Well, wait a minute, what's wrong with eating meat from an animal that doesn't have any steroids or growth hormones or antibiotics
right.
shoved into their gullets? So it's a good thing. And animals die.
Yeah.
Animals die. Whether they're a cow, a pig, a goat, or sheep, it's still an animal, and a deer is the same. You can't say one is better or worse than the other. One's higher, one's less.
Yeah.
They're equal. Well, I think a lot of the youngsters nowadays, hopefully, are seeing the hypocrisy of saying that, eating one animal is okay, but eating another isn't.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I think it's a big part of preserving the future of hunting, for sure, is the organic movement to eat properly.
Yeah, I think so too. It's a great feeling knowing exactly where your food comes from and knowing that you put in that work as well. Nothing beats that feeling.
No, exactly. The accomplishment is directly proportional to the challenge. And, one of the most important things we can do each day is eat. So if you put no effort into it, there's no, the challenge isn't there, just go buy a pound of hamburger. It's not the same as when you go out and put the effort into to actually feed yourself and your family.
Yeah.
It means so much more. And, to be fair, the city people know that. It's just they look at it in a different way. They'll stand in a lineup to eat at a restaurant because it's a famous restaurant. So that's their challenge, to get in to eat in that restaurant.
Right.
And it's a major accomplishment for them. So it's kind of a symbolic way of the city people hunting. It's they don't see it like that. Not all of them, anyway.
It's true, for sure. Yeah, I never thought of it that way, but you're absolutely right.
No, everybody wants their meal to mean something. It's the freshest cherries we just bought, or
yeah.
I drove out to an organic farm and picked my own carrots. Everybody wants the food, which is such an important part of everyone's survival and daily life. They want it to mean more than just a pound of cellophane wrapped burger or a fast food, bowl of fries.
Yeah.
People want meaning in their food. Hunters have that.
Yeah, we sure do. We definitely do. And I was very lucky to be introduced to hunting when I was really little. How were you introduced to this wonderful way of life?
I think I was born into it.
Yeah.
For me, 100% it's genetic. My earliest memory of my existence is discovering beetle bugs and earthworms while my dad and my uncles were tearing down a granary out of the farm. Over bricks, I discovered there's these incredibly cool little creatures underneath those bricks. I don't think I was 2 or 3 years old. So I just graduated from those beetle bugs to mice and gophers and rabbits.
Yeah.
Started feeding our family, and then realized, well, if you want to have rabbits, you can't have so many coyotes. So learned about conservation
Right.
and managing populations, and then moved up to ducks and geese, upland game birds, and finally deer. Got my first deer when I was 14. So it was a pretty natural progression for me. And like I say, our family relied on my dad getting a moose every year. So, but that was purely for food, not so much for spending quiet time in the wildlands.
It's because that's how you had to survive.
We could survive on macaroni, but over the winter, macaroni gets really tiring.
Yeah. So. Definitely. I remember myself, there's a few instances where, for one, when I was younger, I would actually shoot dragonflies with my bow for target practice. So I can relate with the bugs. That's kind of how I started off too.
Sure. Yeah, that's nobody starts off hunting moose and grizzly bears.
Yeah.
Everybody starts a little bit smaller than that, and insects are a good way to start.
Yeah, they are for sure. I guess you would never have seen yourself then, now hunting all around the world.
Well, yeah, at that point in my life, I didn't even know there was a world.
Yeah.
But pretty quickly after I started learning about, how big and wonderful this planet is, I realized that that's what I wanted to do with my life, for sure. And document it, write about it. In the day, there wasn't any such thing as video cameras, but, write about it, which is essentially the same as nowadays, just telling a story with a different medium.
Right, and what made you start, getting into the TV aspect of it?
Well, it actually started before that. It was 33 years ago.
Well, y'all are going to have to tune in next week when I post the rest of Jim Shockey's Hunting Confessions. Thanks for tuning in today, and I'll see y'all next week.